I know you're a fan of Rashkan.
I think we all are. And here's all I'm going to say, though, is that running back room combined with the type of O-lineman that they have and the scheme that they use, they're going to run the ball. I mean, it looks good.
That's what they want to be able to do.
Yes, I'd still like to see this first-team offense get a little bit of run in the third preseason game. They did last year. Justin, I think, attempted about 15 passes, actually, in the third exhibition game last year. I hope that's the case this weekend. We won't know for a few days, though, is my guess. But one more to go before the lid lifter, and when it matters most, just under 3 weeks away now, with one final exhibition game against the Bills.
I was somewhat perplexed during the week when I heard.
Were you too?
Yeah. Well, what are we doing here? This is the game that they get the reps, and then the next game is the one you rest them, and then you go into the regular season.
Maybe they play this weekend.
That's what I thought. We'll see. Don't know. I don't know what to expect. Whatever happens, happens. I think the battle for the number 2 position is a real battle.
I think it is too, Yurko.
I think the defensive tackles played better this week, 96 and 98. So they do something in the regular season.
I had that written down for you. The backup.
Pickens, and Dexter.
The backup thing here. They signed Walker because it seemed to make a lot of sense if you needed to use him if something were to happen to Justin where he'd miss games. There's probably a very almost seamless transition in terms of similar type skill sets, I guess you'd say. Do you think that they're a little stunned that Bajan is pushing as much as he is? Because he's been the better quarterback in camp, and he's been the much better quarterback in the exhibition season,
so
the
only thing you can judge anything on is what's happening.
Right.
And we get to see the games. So you judge things on what's happening in the games, in the exhibition games. And, both of the guys are playing against backups. Both of them are. So you get to judge them as how they're playing against backups. If they had their everything kind of etched in stone that Walker was going to be the second quarterback.
You think
that no longer is necessarily a guaranteed case.
They've stopped etching in the stone.
They're
the engraver was starting, and then they're like, whoa, wait a minute.
I mean, thank heavens they weren't working on the claret jug or something like that. Or, they crossed off names off the Stanley Cup.
Right.
A.K.A. Peter Pocklington.
Exactly.
But I think my point is that now it's conversation because of the play on the field by Bajan.
Yeah.
He's the guy that forced the conversation. And it might only be a conversation of saying, hey, well, he looks like a halfway decent quarterback. It's hard to tell, but it looks like a pretty decent quarterback. But because the first guy has not played as well, P.J. Walker.
He struggled, man.
Now it becomes a greater conversation and a bigger conversation.
I think you nailed that. That he's opened up their eyes, I think, more than they ever thought he would.
Now he
played like 53 games in college, and I get it. It's a Division II school, but that's a lot of football that he's played.
There's a lot of idiots in the world, and they're out there, and they've got Twitter handles. But there's a lot of idiots in the world that think because you compliment one quarterback, you take away from Justin Fields. The play of Bajan has nothing to do with Justin Fields.
Right.
Justin Fields is the quarterback for the Chicago Bears.
Right. We're talking about the backup.
Talking about a backup.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Break glass in case of emergency. Who's best suited for that?
But in this city, any compliment of another quarterback, for some reason or another, is taken as a threat upon Justin Fields.
That's silly.
Which might be some of the dumbest stuff I've ever read and or heard by some idiots that believe they're sports people.
That's silly.
So
I don't even,
Well, it's okay. I laid it out the way it was.
Players who played this weekend, Yerk. Josh Allen, Tua, Mahomes played a lot. Daniel Jones, Bryce Young. You sort of expect Young and C.J. Stroud to play, right?
You keep going.
Players who didn't, in fairness. Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, Jared Goff, Aaron Rodgers. It sounds like Rodgers is going to play in the third preseason game. A surprise to some. Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott. To Yurko's point, I could keep going in both groups. There are more than one ways to do this. There's more than one ways to skin a cat. I get it. My preference would still be for the first team to play a little, because I think there is some value in getting in and out of the huddle and seeing some of the live ammo and getting used to the speed that really is never going to be replicated in what they do with their own practices and training camp. Maybe a little bit more in these joint practices. Is it still a game? Is it still a game?
Even with a truncated 3-game exhibition season, the final game for me is the one you rest your starters, because now you're almost to the regular season.
Now they'll be 2 weeks away.
Yeah, if you were being cautious, you wanted to be cautious, this is the time to be cautious. So for me, it would make sense for the offense and a lot of the key players not to play in this game because you're right there.
You
You're
okay
on
if
the
they
cusp.
do?
Who?
Are you okay if they do?
I've got no problem if they do.
Okay.
I would just think this is the one you want to rest them. Why the second one? Makes no sense
Okay.
to me.
So what do you think, Bears fans? Do you hope they play a little bit more? Or are you content with them just sitting down now and waiting to the opener? 312-332 ESPN. Jim's in Antioch. What's up, Jim?
Hey, the thing that scares me about not playing is Matt Nagy used to have the best preseasons and the best reasons for not playing these guys, and that scares me that I agree, Carmen, you really want to see him on the field. You got to have some live action. It can't all be, practice was so good. Because that's just an excuse that didn't fly once we saw the season come. That's why Matt Nagy got fired. They weren't prepared.
I think there were a lot of reasons why Matt Nagy got fired. I don't know that it was I probably way down on the list, Jim, to be honest, if you ask me, was like how he handled the preseason. But, yeah, I think there's some value to it, though, in regardless of who, Matt Nagy, Matt Eberflus, are they different? Are they similar? Coaches play this thing differently. Andy Reid kind of cares. He's told you that. Mahomes usually plays a fair amount in the preseason. Brady used to play a lot in the preseason. Belichick.
Andy also wants to get in the rhythm.
He wants to get in the rhythm.
He and
yes.
his OC, his offense coordinator, want to get in the rhythm with their quarterback.
Harbaugh takes it pretty seriously. Carroll traditionally has taken it pretty seriously. And their guys play and they find some value in it. Like Andy Reid said as much last week. Why do they play? Well, because what Yurko just said. You want them to feel it a little bit. You want them to get in the rhythm. You want them to feel it a little bit. Without the joint practices this week, it'll be interesting to see how he does this. And how different is this year versus last when Fields was younger, obviously. Didn't have as much experience, was playing in a new offense, but he did play a lot in the third exhibition game. Ryan's in Skokie. What's up, Ryan?
Hey, gentlemen, for our quarterback's nickname here, I think we got to get some shirts to say Sonic Boom from Street Fighter.
Sonic Boom from Street Fighter. Ty, I got you.
Sonic.
There you go. That's not bad. I still like
Sonic Boom.
Yeah.
I get it now.
Yeah, no, I missed that first part. All right, Ryan, that's not a bad submission. What's the obvious shirt going to read? That's what we need. Bajent Orange, which is Kevin Zepak, one of our producers. He came up with that one.
What,
Bajent
royalties
Orange.
for that?
That's the orange. No, you don't get any.
No royalties?
You get no royalties.
Okay.
No. You get nothing in like it. You get a hearty handshake.
You've got to put a copyright on that, my friend. Isn't that what you got to do, Carl?
I think you have to right away, yeah.
Is
It's
it a
my
trademark or a
intellectual
copyright?
property right
Yeah,
there, all
right
right?
now it is.
Bajent Orange,
I'd go
baby.
file for something.
Oh, man. Troubling news on Teven Jenkins, some sort of a leg injury that could, according to Brad Biggs, prevent him from starting the season and potentially going to miss some time here in the month of September. This has been the challenge, keeping him on the field. When he plays, he's good. What else can we say?
Yeah, he's a road grader.
said it all.
He's a road grader.
When he plays, he's good.
Right.
He can't stay on the field.
How'd he get hurt? How'd he get hurt?
No, I don't know.
How'd he
They're
get
not
hurt?
going to tell us.
Again,
obviously.
that's all I want to know is how did he get hurt? Tell me. I've got to know. I want to know how he got hurt.
They're not going to tell you.
He was fine.
And he was, again, looking good. He's impressive. When he's on the field, he makes a difference.
Yeah.
Cody Whitehair.
I'm not.
I don't
here
think
to
it's as
speculate.
serious.
I'm not here to speculate.
Nate Davis hasn't been able to practice
Right.
for a very mysterious reason. I don't know what's going on.
As a former player, Carm, if I can get out of training camp, I would. I would.
Yeah, but this is not.
100% though. If I can get out of training camp, I
Oh,
would.
so you mean like Nate
That's what
Davis?
I'm telling you. Yeah.
Yeah.
They came to me and told me, Yerk, you don't have to play on Saturday. I'd be doing back handsprings. Okay, I would. I get it. As players, you don't necessarily want to be out there playing all the time. The guys that have to play are the ones that have to make the team. Them are the guys that want to play. The guys that are on the team don't give a rat's patootie about what happens now. They get paid $3,200 a week. You know that, the veteran players?
Is that right?
$3,200 a week in the preseason. During the games. They don't get $3,200 if they're not playing games. So, I mean, they don't care. None of them care about anything right now. They care about September 10th.
Speaking of guards, Leatherwood moving over to guard, played
Yeah.
left guard. Looking better to you?
Better. A little bit better, yeah.
I think he
I'd
had
say
a
it looks
penalty,
better.
but like looking better.
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
Looking more serviceable. He, at the tackle position, looked terrible.
Right, but looks better at guard.
I'll give you this. Robert Gallery was a terrible tackle. They moved Robert Gallery in to play guard, and Robert Gallery was a better guard.
I'll tell you, the one thing I'm not worried about at all, and not that Yurko and I worry
You
about.
can hide tackles at guard. A bad tackle can become a decent guard.
Yurko and I don't worry about running backs much. People know that if they've listened. They are very fungible.
I know you're a fan of Rashkan.
Well, I think we all are. And here's all I'm going to say, though, is that running back room combined with the type of O-lineman that they have and the scheme that they use, they're going to run the ball. I mean, it looks good.
That's what they want to be able to do.
Yeah, and I don't. Now, you got to be able to score.
You ran the ball last year, Carm.
I know. And I think that will continue. I like the running back room, but like at the end of the day, for us, what is that really? Well, yeah, all right. I mean, they're a bunch of interchangeable parts. They've got talent in that room. I love Roshan, right? I mean, like he's earning the opportunity to get more run, to get more carries, to be more involved in this offense. You said it from the get-go. You're like, it's got a little Priest Holmes, Ricky Williams feel to it.
I pointed that out.
You know, where like Bijan was the obvious star.
Yep.
And Bijan's incredible. But his backup, Roshan Johnson, probably is RB1 at almost like any other program in the country last year, other than the school he was at and maybe, you know, I don't know, maybe behind
Maybe
like a
another
Jameer
one.
Gibbs or right? I mean, like there not many places is he not going to be the guy. Maybe K-State.
So you like
I don't know, but I mean, like
found him
you
in the
like
fourth
him.
round. You got a deal on him. When he gets the ball, maybe he'll be able to get you positive yardage. Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's the best I could say about a running back.